Hi everyone. The instructional accessory that Michaela and I chose to focus our presentation on is organization. So we'll first discuss what the concept of organization is and how it applies to encoding, and then we'll discuss how teachers can use organization in their teaching to promote encoding, and then an example of organization being used in a lesson in the classroom. What is the concept of organization? So organization is where the information that students encounter becomes categorized and stored in specific places in their brain. So in order for this information to be organized, students need to engage in many behaviors such as perceiving, conceptualizing information, and making decisions based on it. So when material is presented in an organized fashion, students will eventually begin to adopt the organizational structure on their own and automatically categorize material. Organization applies to encoding because in order for information to be categorized in the correct place, learners must be given the opportunity to actively process the information. So this is when a teacher will stop and allow students time to just reflect on the information on their own. So this allows them to make meaningful associations between the information they are presented with and then the information being stored in long-term memory. And this is really important because the information will become categorized, and then retrieval will be much more accurate when it occurs, and the process of encoding occurs much more effectively. So when we start to teach our students, we should be sure to consider organization and how we'll be able to use it so that we can help them learn in the best way possible. So these are some recommendations of how we can actually do that. So first of all, we will need to present the new material in a clear and organized manner. If we give students things that are all over the place, obviously they won't be able to follow as well as if the things were in a great order. Next, we have to explain how information being learned fits together. So kind of explaining to students why they're learning the things that they're learning and how it can relate to things they already know and things that they will learn in the future. We also should explain and outline objectives. In order to make sure that the lesson is clear. Students should understand exactly what it is that they'll be learning. They shouldn't just go into it blind and kind of have to figure out what you're talking about. They should really be presented with an outline and what the goal is for the lesson. Next, we should tell students what will be discussed and then discuss it, kind of brief students and give them an idea of what they'll be learning about before we go deeper into it. Students should also be able to summarize the main ideas from the discussion. They should be able to realize what really stands out and what the purpose was of the discussion. And lastly, teach students how to outline and take notes. I think this is very important that we do this. Some students don't know and they can't keep their information organized in the way that would be most beneficial. So when we show them how to outline and how to take notes, it allows them to have like a clear pathway to go down for when they take notes. They'll be able to organize their information better and keep it organized in their notes and in their brains. So for an example of how to facilitate organization in a lesson, I came up with a lesson about landforms and bodies of water. And I made up a chart, which I'll show you in the next slide. And the purpose of the chart is to really just let students organize different new vocabulary that they're learning by categories. The material also is more clear and more organized when they use the chart. And the teacher will be explaining the new vocabulary and how it's related to each other and things that students already know. And in addition, the outline will help students learn how to take notes in an effective manner. So I found this quote in the Slate and Charlesworth reading that says that the use of advanced organizers helps students with organization and structure. It helps student learning and helps them to understand the incoming information. So we can see in my chart, I have different forms of water and different landforms right across the top. So what we would do is break it down one by one. So first we would just focus on a hill, and we would say a description of a hill, what it is. Then for what it looks like, students would draw a picture of what the hill looks like, and we would give some examples of real hills, maybe in the community or famous ones in the world. And we would do that one by one for each individual landform or body of water. And I think this would really help students to understand each new vocabulary word one by one, but also to understand that they do all come together and make up the world that we live in. So after students finish the chart and can really understand what each different landform or body of water is and looks like, where it's placed in the world in relation to the other landforms or other bodies of water, students should be able to make their own diagram. Throughout this unit, we learned a lot that student attention plays a big role in helping them to learn. So I thought that presenting students with a project or assignment where they had to create their own world with their own kind of like spin or personalization on it would be something that could be fun and exciting for them. So for example, if I was going to do one, I really like food, so I would make like a goldfish ocean and sandwich plain and things like that. So I think students could really enjoy that project, and it would also help them to understand what these landforms and bodies of water actually look like and how they relate to each other and how they interact and play a role. These are the references that we use to inform our presentation. Thank you everyone for watching.